All eyes is on me. Won't tell no lies, won't hold my tongue. Don't cry for me.
This Chicago, nigga.
I don't have no rapper friends, I hang with the vultures. Big ass toaster, hit your whip and flip it over. Big old nigga, he's a big old goofy, Rudy Gobert. Jump off in that lane, you gon' get put on a poster. My Ferrari F8, Lamborghini Roadster. I turned 10 bricks into 12, them birds had a growth spurt. We gon' do some shopping later, I'ma need some dough first. I just got some head in a ghost, and that ghost turn. Yeah, out of here, your boyfriend a gopher. I seen him out with her and pretend like I don't know her. I can't do no features with you, nigga, that's a no, sir. Hardest nigga on earth, I'm not really from earth. We gon' down 911, I let off that clone first. I put in my own work, better do your homework. I can hear that money calling, I pick up the first ring. What you gon' charge an old man for that pussy, girl, don't hurt me.
Iced out all my scammer hoes, boost all the insurance up. Iced out all my ghetto hoes who turned into influencers. Smirkio, fuck that bitch and leave, I don't care who she fuck. Back shit out her closet, it's hot as hell, she got on Yeezy up. I got moles with me, bump out the feds, me and I got foes with me. You got goofies with you, before I do that, I keep some hoes with me. Asking for my gun when I'm in Cali, nigga, this your city. Why you DM my bitch, acting like we fuck these hoes below silly. Street niggas won't rain me, on like calamari. Took her at that cheap shit, took her to Bulgari. Never tell her sorry, this car a Ferrari. Offset with this Cuban link, you think she was Cardi. Go.
Three gang leaders with me all times. I don't know who I fucked last night, I got Alzheimer's. I don't know who them hoes is, man, they all lying. Brody, tell me who them hoes is, man, they all fine. 100 hooligans, and we with the foolishness. I'm anti-Semitic, I just fucked a Jewish bitch. I just fucked Scooter's bitch, and we ran her like a lead. Bitch got pregnant in the threesome, so whose baby is it? Whose baby is it? My niggas putting belt to ass, pull up with the switches. This ain't Jimmy Butler, but the heat got extensions. This ain't Columbine, but we came in with the trenches.
I ain't for a neck, cause her boyfriend bought that necklace.
With the trenches, with the trenches.
Fuck it, I scratched another nigga woman up off my checklist.
With the trenches.
I've been living reckless. Always take off, wasn't there that night in Houston, Texas.
With the trenches.
Wish I could bring Ncaa back, that was my best friend. Boys, I need you to give me something big, I'm talking about dollar signs. Skinny pin flow, tell her, no, I don't wanna fuck. She can suck it till she suck it dry. California nigga with some European freaks. Badass bitch from the middle, east wanna lick on me, stick on me. Even though I got security, even though she got a man, she know he ain't as pure as me, seriously. Soon as I get back trading in my euros for the Puro keys. Couple gray hairs up in my beard, that showing my maturity, yeah. Hey, shout out to my symphony, ninth there, spaced out. We did that shit so differently and brilliantly. Dollar sign, Iggy, and we birth YG. Fades in the backyard, no talking, take flight instantly. Hey, Nate 3D, Buddha, my nigga, James Cool, my nigga, that's drug. She's starting that P out the D, she want me to put some of this coke in her butt. She rushing, I beat up the pussy for Ukraine. Bought her a bag and I'm spending with loose change. Just on my exit, she told me that you changed. Yeah. Dollar don't rap it, be fucking it up. Still screaming free TC Melly and Thug. Fuck the police, the DA and the judge. Way out of Saudi, I found me a plug. Don't wanna go out, she rather do drugs. Can't be my man if we met in the club.
Give me something big, I'm talking about dollar signs. Look at your hoe, I don't wanna fuck. It's a fuck, I'm shooting gangster like that. Give me something big, I'm talking about dollar signs. Look at your hoe, I don't wanna fuck. It's a fuck, I'm shooting gangster like that. Gangster like that. Gangster like that.
But get in contact with the heads of the NCAA, these athletic directors, and come up with a solution to where there's more parity in the women's game so that all of these women can have a meaningful, realistic opportunity of getting quality minutes, putting up good enough stats to be able to attract the WNBA. So what is that? I think that the association, the WNBA and the Players Union should have reached out to the NCAA for the women's side and said, we would like to propose this. We want to canvass this. How about placing a cap on how many teams could have 5 stars and 4 stars? There can only be a certain number of 4 stars and 5 stars per P4 team. Okay. And the rest of that will have to go to lower levels. It would have to go to mid majors, all of that. Because listen, right now it's just too much. UConn is getting them all. South Carolina getting them all. USC is getting them all. And the ones that are hurting are lower level P4s and mid majors. These are the ones that's really hurting. That's why there's no parity in the women's game. That's why you're getting teams getting blown out. The scores are lopsided. There's no Cinderellas. Virginia isn't a Cinderella because it's a P4 team. A Cinderella historically is a mid-major, okay? And like that's what it is. It's a freaking mid-major. It's not a D1 school. Those are Cinderellas. You don't have a Cinderella, okay? You don't have a Cinderella, right? And so like, that's what it is. So if anything, they should have reached out to the NCAA and said, can we place a cap? Can we place a cap? Okay. Place a cap on how many 4s and 5 stars a team can have. That way, these 4 and 5 stars can all go to the same programs. They have to go to some mid-majors, some low-level P4s. And that way that creates parity. That creates parity. And then that calms the transfer portal down, right? It slows it down a little bit because you all can't transfer and go to a big time school. There's limitations on that too, even in the portal. You can't be a 5-star and a 4-star and pile up at one program or a few programs. Those 4 and 5 stars have to be spread out. And when you decide to enter the portal, you still can't go to these major programs, okay? That's the way this thing has to be. That's the only way the women's game gains parity. So for some of you who don't know, in the last 10 years, there's only been 23 times in the last 10 years, or wait a second, no, 31 times in the last 10 years has there been a non-P4 team or mid-major that advanced past the first round. And it gets even worse when you start talking about Sweet 16. It gets even worse. Just think about that. In the last 10 years, just 31 times has there been a non-P4 or mid-major that advanced past the first round. There is no Cinderellas on the women's side. The men, the last 2 years, they've suffered. But in 2023, all the way going back to the freaking 90s, listen, let's just do the last 10 years. The last 10 years on the men's side, there's been 80 non-P4 teams or mid-majors who have advanced past the first round. Okay, then you start getting to what, almost 60 that either made it to the Sweet 16, okay, right? I think to the Sweet 16 or to the Elite 8 in like the last 10 years. So outside of the last 2 years, there have always been non-P4s and mid-majors making it past the first round or getting to the Sweet 16 and moving on to the Elite 8. In the women's side, it doesn't really exist. Okay, so we're talking about the last 10 years, you guys, just 31 non-P4 mid-majors made it past the first round. That's in 10 years. Just think about that, okay? So there is no parity in the women's game. There isn't even any parity in the P4s. Okay, just think about that. So like you want to tout the SEC. How many good teams are there in the SEC? What you got? South Carolina, Kentucky, Alabama. Well, now Christy Curry is gone. Okay, so Alabama's about to fall off again. You got Vanderbilt. Who else? Seriously, like who else? Texas. So what? What's like 4 or 5 teams in the SEC? The rest of them are terrible. The rest of them are terrible. The ACC is the same thing. You could pick maybe 4 good teams in the ACC, 4 or 5 good teams. Big 10, 4 teams maybe. Big 12, 2 maybe. Baylor, TCU, the rest of them, meh. Right? Like, and like that, well, maybe, I think Iowa State is in the Big 10. No, maybe Iowa State is still in the Big 12. But there's only like 3 teams over there. So like, it's brutal, you guys. The Big East, you got UConn, Syracuse, that's it. And look at what happened to Syracuse when they played UConn. Felicia Lejack is screaming and crying, looking pathetic. Okay? So even in a P4, there is no parity, y'all. There is no parity in a P4. Just think about that. So as a league who now just dangled all of this money in these players' faces, these girls' faces, these 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old women's faces, at some point, I can make potentially $2, $3, $4 million. I can be the first round pick, and that goes up every year. I can be a first round pick and make over $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. My fourth year, depending on what I did in the league, I could then jump to a supermax deal. Man, I'm trying to get to this league. Let me jump in this portal. Let me leave Iowa State, even though we're building something special here. And let me jump in this portal. Let me leave Charleston State. Let me leave Fairleigh Dickinson. Man, let me leave Auburn. Let me leave Mississippi State. Let me leave Notre Dame. Let me leave these programs and let me go somewhere else where I can become a starter or a sixth woman. So I can get more minutes to put up some bigger stats so I can attract the WNBA, even though this is going to hurt the program because they got to start over every single year. Now, you could spin it how you want to spin it, like Coach Yolette McEwen is doing, by saying we don't rebuild, we just retool, because she just keep getting these women from the portal. That's true for her. That's true for her. And maybe at some point she'll hit a home run and win a national championship, but that's not going to happen anytime soon because of South Carolina, because they keep getting all the 5 and 4 stars and the best players in the portal. So Coach Yo, she's fighting hard, but she's not going to get anywhere. It's like a dead end. And it's a dead end because Coach Yo can't keep talent because everyone jumps in a portal, they're graduating. And so she doesn't think she's starting over, but she really is. Now, that's credit to her coaching, but it's pretty much a dead end. And it's a dead end because the portal is being abused and because there's no cap with how many teams can keep 4 and 5 stars. And that is what the players should have done, the association, the WNBA and the union. Go ahead and do this deal. I think it's disgusting when we get into housing. I think it's pathetic. It's pathetic. These women don't want to grow up. It's absolutely pathetic, right? The stipends are pathetic. They fleece this league. The league is like, listen, we'll get it back later. We're not worried about that. It's really a win for us in terms of team valuation, all of these other things. So don't worry about that. We won in our own way. But this is abuse, what the players did to the league. It's absolutely disgusting, right? But they should have at least reached out to the NCAA and said, there is no gross revenue. There is no gross revenue without quality product on the field. Okay? Right? Like, seriously, you have to think about that. If the product is bad, why would I want to watch? Why would I want to watch if the product is bad? How is the product ever going to get better without good program building if everyone is leaving, jumping in a portal? What you don't understand is that they're jumping in a portal more than ever before. And because of the money and the benefits in the WNBA under the new CBA, it's going to spiral even more out of control, right? And so that's what people don't see. And that's so that's going to hurt your product, okay? Because you got women who aren't developed properly, okay? There's no true foundation there. And then they're going to get to the league and it's going to be all over with. You're going to get sloppy basketball like what we've been seeing the last 2 seasons. So in the last 2 seasons of the WNBA, okay, you've had the worst field goal percentage and 3-point percentage in league history as a league as a whole. In 2024, 2025, the field goal percentage and 3-point percentage has been the worst in WNBA history. Okay, this is the Neal era coming into the league. 2024, Neal era. 2025, Neal era. We're now getting the name, image, likeness players coming into this league where they aren't loyal. These players hop from team to team. Some of these women like Janiyah Bark have been on 4 teams. Okay, there is no foundation there. There's no discipline. There's no loyalty. There's no patience. There's no callous. There's no substance. And in a lot of cases, it's basic skill or street ball skill. Okay, and that's not transferable, right? And so that's the part that people are forgetting. So now we're about to get sloppy basketball. We just had sloppy basketball the last 2 years. Okay? We just had sloppy basketball the last 2 years. That's not going to change. So we're going to keep getting more sloppy basketball because we're in the Neal era, but now it's going to be even worse. All right, so I asked the question, the WNBA's new CBA and its increased salary potential may inadvertently cause the NCAA transfer portal to become even more volatile. With professional earnings reaching new heights, collegiate players are prioritizing draft stock over team loyalty instead of remaining on elite stack rosters where they might be buried in the rotation. Players are seeking programs that offer high volume opportunities to pad their stats. While these salary bumps are a massive victory for the league, they may create a me-first culture that fundamentally changes the chemistry of women's college basketball. So, Gemini says, that is a sharp observation. Okay, we are essentially witnessing a professionalization of the college game that mirrors the NBA's G League or the NFL's relationship with the NCAA. With the 2026 WNBA CBA terms now public, it's going to go into the numbers. The cost of being buried on a bench for the sake of a team championship becomes a massive financial risk. The economic shift, draft stock versus team chemistry. The volatility you're seeing in the transfer portal is being driven by 3 specific pillars of the new CBA and the current NCAA landscape. Number 1, the multi-million-dollar ceiling. For the first time, it's going to go into these numbers. Okay. The volume requirement. WNBA scouts are increasingly looking for players who can handle high usage rates. If a player is at a stacked program like South Carolina or LSU and only getting 12 minutes a game, they can't prove they are ready for the professional workload. The portal allows them to find a fever-style fast break system where they can be the focal point. Point number 3, Neal as a bridge, not a destination. While name, image, likeness money is huge, it's temporary. The CBA offers career longevity and pension benefits that college collectives can't match. Players are now using the transfer portal to find the best audition for a 10-year pro career rather than just the highest name, image, likeness check for one season. Okay. So roster building, old paradigm, recruiting high school stars to sit and learn, new CBA era, recruiting proven transfers for immediate impact. Player priority, winning a national championship, new CBA era, maximizing efficiency ratings and usage rate. Coach's role, old paradigm, development and mentorship, new CBA era, roster management and GM style negotiations. Old paradigm, chemistry, multi-year bonds and shared growth, new CBA era, transient alliances based on shared professional goals. The me first versus business first debate. While many worry about the me first culture eroding the spirit of the game, others argue this is simply athletes finally being allowed to treat their careers with the same business logic as their coaches. A coach will leave a program for a $2 million raise mid-contract. Players are now simply doing the same by betting on themselves in the portal to secure that 1.4 million supermax down the road. Okay. The unintended consequence, as you noted, is that the stacked super teams of the past may become harder to maintain. If you aren't a starter by your sophomore year, the financial pressure to move to a program where you can pad the stats might be too high to ignore, right? And so, yeah, I mean, listen, Gemini is essentially agreeing with me, right? Gemini is essentially agreeing with me. And so, like, this is what it is. This is bad. This is bad. And it's like people don't understand this is terrible, you guys. This is terrible. And so what could the league have done? I think be responsible. Reach out to the NCAA don't even deal with the men's side. This is strictly for the women's division. And reach out to them and say, if your product is bad, our product is bad. Okay, so this impacts the league and obviously the players. The players want gross revenue share, or some type of revenue tied into the salary cap. That's what they've been rewarded. But there is not much to go around if the product is bad, because that causes fans to turn off the television or their iPhones or tablets. I'm not watching it anymore. And then the seats are empty because I'm not attending to watch a bunch of turnovers, a bunch of fouls, a bunch of bricks from threes and twos, and a bunch of players fighting and dirty fouls and play calls, and games are looking fixed and it's rough out there. I'm not watching that crap. I'm out of here. At halftime, the score is 32-30. I ain't got time for all that. I'm out. I don't need to be doing this anymore. Okay? And so at that point, where's the revenue coming from? Even Caitlin Clark couldn't save you. Even she couldn't save you if the product is that bad. Okay? But it's gonna get that bad. And so what they should have done, they should have said, listen, the women's game in college needs parity. And by having parity, it slows the portal down. It slows the traffic down in the portal. What's the solution? By placing a cap of how many 4 stars and 5 stars a P4 program can have. Even after they've already left and went to another program, a 5-star, 4-star can't transfer to a top tier P4 program. This creates more balance, which creates more parity in the women's game. It allows players to sit still. Okay, well, I'm not going to leave where I'm at because I can't go to a major program based off of certain caps. So I either got to stay here or go to a program on my same level or something lesser. And that creates parity across women's college basketball, right? Each team is more competitive than ever before. And then that gives birth to Cinderellas. That makes the NCAA tournament more digestible, okay? It makes it more fun to watch. I know that a mid-major or low-level P1 team, a non-P4, is going to make it past the first round. It's going to get to the Sweet 16. I know potentially we can see Cinderella in the Elite 8. Right now, that's impossible. That's impossible because there's no parity, because South Carolina, LSU, UConn, USC, UCLA, Notre Dame, they can just keep loading up with all of these 5 stars and 4 stars, and everybody in a portal is trying to jump to one of those programs. And so everyone else gets left behind. Okay, and then that makes the women's game predictable. It makes it boring. It makes it unfair as well. And then you have other little things going on that's impacting the women's game, like the powers that be. ESPN, ABC, which set up this South USC, the real USC or something, USC versus USC, or who's the real USC, or something like that. Who's the real SC, or who's the real USC, where they set that up, the big networks with the NCAA. So I think once or twice a season, Southern California is supposed to play South Carolina. Okay. Now that was set up. I don't know if that set up by Fox, CBS, ESPN. One of those networks set it up, right? The real USC versus something. I forget what they call it. Okay. So what happened is that what they're doing is that they're giving those programs help in bringing in the best talent in the States or abroad, so that matchup on Fox or CBS or whatever station is on can generate the most ratings. So if you're wondering, how is it possible that Southern California is just getting all of this top talent that's coming in every year, especially this upcoming season, next season? They're getting all of this talent. We know South Carolina can do it, but now they're doing it even more than ever before. But the Trojans are just in overdrive with it. How is that possible? Well, listen, you got to stop being naive, right? What's happening is that the powers that be behind that network that came up with that SC versus SC, whatever, this annual game, I think they're played twice a year or something like that. Listen, they've helped USC with this recruiting stuff now, whether that's with money, promises of endorsements, whatever happened, that's what's going on. And so you're going to get a bunch of 5 stars running to Southern California more than ever before. And the same with South Carolina. How does that help the women's collegiate game, y'all? It doesn't. It doesn't help it. Okay? On top of the fact we have incompetent coaches, we got a lot of coaches going towards pace and space. And so they're not developing women on the first 2 levels. So you don't have a lot of good rim game in a low block or the high block. You don't have a good mid-range game. So what you're stuck with is ISO, flare screens, getting downhill, jumpers, and like out in transition. That's essentially what it is. And so when these women get to the WNBA, they're now in a league where these women have been there and done that, from the States to overseas. And they're getting out schemed and all of these other things. And then they're just left behind because they're entering the league with the bare minimum, with the basics. And that's not good enough. They don't understand scheme. They don't understand any of these things. We even saw Alexis Morris said they never ran anything pro at LSU. So when she went to the Connecticut Sun, she said she didn't know what she was hearing or seeing. Alexis Morris went live on IG and said, I didn't know what I was hearing or seeing. She said, because we never ran anything pro at LSU. So Alexis Morris entered the WNBA with the basics. She could handle the basketball. She had a good mid-range shot. She could finish at the rim. She got a clutch gene, but that wasn't good enough because these other women in the WNBA got the same thing. And they've been playing basketball for a lot of years. Okay, so she was left behind. This is what you people don't see. This is what the WNBA didn't see, what the union didn't see, what the NCAA, what they're not seeing. Okay, is that what's good for the WNBA is good for college, and what's good for college is good for the WNBA because that's where the talent is coming in at. That's where the talent is coming from. So if it's bad in college, it's going to be bad in the WNBA. And what is the WNBA going to do? The WNBA is going to say, well, a couple of these players we can develop. The rest of them, we're just like, we can't keep you. Or we got to use you to fill out these 15 rosters or 18 rosters. These 18 teams, we got to use you. So now you're getting diluted talent. You're getting subpar talent in the league to fill out these rosters, okay? Or these 18 teams or 15 teams. Meaning what? Turnovers are going to be up. Inefficiency is going to continue. And that's terrible basketball. More fouls, more stoppage of play. Just bad basketball, okay? Because they didn't anticipate this. They didn't see it. Because they were being too greedy. They just saw the numbers in front of them. NCAAWBB and the Players Association, they saw numbers. They saw an opportunity to fleece the league. The league saw an opportunity to grow their brand, to boost the value of their franchises. That's what the league saw. So the league saw all of this momentum, all of this potential product by adding teams and more games, valuation boosted, team value, teams are more valuable than what they were when they purchased them, expansion fees, $250 million or more. That's what they saw. Okay, so they saw future growth. They saw viability, sustainability. That's what they saw, and they were willing to allow themselves to be fleeced. So you have both parts being greedy. The WNBA was greedy and turned a blind eye to all of this, and the Players Association wasn't even thinking about college. They were just thinking about themselves. And now what's going to happen is that when you marry, when you fuse unlikability from these players throughout this process, these players have now become more unlikable than ever before. That's number one. They didn't see that. The other part that they didn't see was what? Addressing inefficiency. But when you're adding more teams and more roster spots, that means more players are coming into this league who shouldn't even be in this league, but you have to put them in this league to fill those rosters. Okay? Then you're bringing in name, image, likeness era players where they're not developed enough because they keep skipping programs. They can't sit still. On top of these coaches are running some of this pace stuff where they don't even teach the fundamentals anymore. And so you're getting in lesser talent. Now, when you go to 18 teams, the product is really diluted. So there's now product degradation and it's pretty much unwatchable. All because the league was greedy, the Players Association was greedy, and they should have reached out to where they get their product from. They should have reached out to the NCAA and they should have said, we have got to find a way to slow down this portal. How do we do that? I want to present to you, propose this idea of a cap on how many 4 and 5 stars a P4 program can have. Okay? And then I want you to say you can't transfer unless you've been at the program for 2 years. You can transfer after 2 years. Now, if it's something major like sexual abuse, sexual harassment, coaches bullying you or something like that, sure. Okay, but if none of that is going on and you can't prove that that's going on, you can't transfer unless you've been there 2 years. So what we're doing is that we're providing balance and parity, and we're giving stability to programs to where they now can build. That also gives coaches the ability to coach hard again, to get the most out of their players. Because I'm afraid to yell at you because you're going to jump in a portal. Or you're just going to jump in a portal because you mad that I'm trying to develop you and you're not there yet, but you're thinking about this money from the WNBA, so you're just going to jump in a portal and go somewhere where you can be a starter and you're clearly not ready. So that's why I got you 8th in rotation right now, because you're not ready to be a starter. But you're thinking about, I need to start putting together a nice resume. So I'm just going to jump in this portal because I'm trying to get to this league. And you're not even developed. So we got to slow this down. What's the solution? Well, the solution is to place a cap on how many P4 programs can have 4 and 5 stars. That means some of those 4 and 5 stars will go to mid-majors, non-P4 teams. And then there's a limitation. You can't transfer unless you've been at these programs for 2 years. After 2 years, you can transfer. Okay, right? Like, that's what this is all about. And that way, it helps the WNBA product. The WNBA is now getting players in the league more developed, more skilled, okay? And then it helps the WNBA product to prevent it from having degradation. That's the solution, but they weren't thinking about that. So what's going to happen to the WNBA, you guys? What's going to happen to the WNBA? Now, the WNBA could say, well, let's just keep getting women from overseas because these women have been playing professional basketball since they were 14 years old. So let's just keep throwing in these women from overseas because these women coming from college are terrible. So either you're going to listen to my solution, Kathy, Players Association, and have a conversation with the NCAA, or guess what you're going to be getting? Talent in the WNBA that's not developed. You're going to be getting above average or mainly below average talent coming into this league. It's going to dilute the product, which causes degradation, and there won't be a lot of gross revenue to share. Doesn't care if it's tied into the salary cap. Nothing is going on. Fans are turned off. Casuals don't want to watch. Novices aren't interested to eventually become a casual. Arenas are empty. Ratings are piss poor. Kathy is now on the hot seat. They're trying to get rid of her. And at that point, she would have earned it. Ncaa is looking like an idiot. It's not working. That's the problem. That's the issue. That's the problem. And then listen, women's college basketball is only experiencing highs because of fans who are loyal to these programs, these institutions. Some of them went to these universities. They grew up. These are small towns where this is the only thing going on. And so they're going to stay loyal. So ratings won't ever just be damaged in women's college basketball. But I think what you'll see is, because of the predictability, I think the first round, the ratings are going to go down in the first round because it's clear. It's clear who's going to win. And just like, or maybe the peak numbers will be good, the average numbers will be terrible because the score is so lopsided. It's just like, I'm not watching this. It's clear that this mid-major doesn't stand a chance. This non-P4 doesn't stand a chance. Or these lower level P4 teams don't stand a chance. Why don't they stand a chance? Because the top tier P4 teams are loaded up with all the 4 and 5 stars and all the best transfers. And the networks are pushing that because they've made these teams their product to sell you. And everyone else suffers. And women's college basketball is too predictable to be consumed, to be enjoyed. So I just gave you the perfect solution. I gave you the only solution. I can also give you my other solution, which I mentioned in 2023 or 2022, when I mentioned this, when I said, listen, there needs to be name, image, and likeness should just be a team deals and not individual. It should be based off a team and every player gets a percentage. That way, that slows down the portal as well. Okay, right? But like I said, I've just given you the only solutions to this problem. I told you, if you could see this cover art, I'm telling you how the WNBA and WNBPA sent the portal into overdrive. I explained why that happened, how that happened. Okay? I told you the good and the bad. I've given you solutions. Now it just depends on what are you going to do with it. What are you going to do with it? Okay? What are you going to do with it? Like, it's a major problem. It's a major problem. This is bad. It's bad. Now, before I move on, I want to ask Gemini one more question. We're going to get to one more question with Gemini. What is this? Yeah, let me get past that. Yeah, we're going to get one more question to Gemini. I want to ask Gemini, Oh, you said, wait a minute, Christy Curry left Alabama. Yeah, she went to USF. Yeah, she's at USF right now. All right. Okay, so I just presented this to Grok. So I essentially said to Grok what I told you guys. Hard to develop, all of that. Okay, so not Grok, but Gemini. Gemini says this is a bold protectionist approach to the talent pipeline. And you touched on a massive blind spot in the current growth strategy. The quality of the labor. If the WNBA expands to 16 plus teams, while the college game becomes a revolving door of transfers, it risks a dilution double whammy. You have more roster spots to fill, but the players filling them might have high stats without the high-level basketball IQ that only comes from deep system immersion. The stable development proposal. Your idea for a 2-year mandatory stay and roster caps on elite talent would essentially bring parity by regulation to the NCAA. Here is how that looks through a 2026 lens. Number one, the 2-year lock-in, the logic. Currently, the 2026 transfer window is a 15-day period. It's chaotic. A 2-year requirement will force skill polishing. You can't just leave because you had a bad shooting month. You have to learn to play through the slump and adapt to a coach's scheme. Point number two, the benefit of the WNBA. Teams like the Indiana Fever or Chicago Sky wouldn't have to spend a rookie's entire first season teaching them basic professional rotations. They would be getting system-ready products rather than stat sheet products. Point number two, the legal hurdle. This is the sticking point. In March 2026, Senator Tommy Tuberville introduced the Student Act of 2026, the Student Athlete Act of 2026, which tries to pull back to one free transfer. However, courts have repeatedly ruled that restricting athlete movement is a violation of antitrust laws. Without a collective bargaining agreement for college athletes, a mandatory 2-year stay might be shot down in court within a week. Number two, the star rating cap, parity ratios. The logic, if you limit Power 4 teams, SEC, Big Ten, etc., to a specific number of 4 and 5-star recruits, the talent must flow down to mid-majors. Number two, the result. Instead of 3 5-stars sitting on the bench at a blue blood school, 2 of them are leading programs like USF or FGCU. This creates immediate parity and forced development. Point number three, the risk. It could inadvertently push talent to international pro leagues instead of college. If a 5-star recruit is told they can't go to their dream school because of a cap, they might just take a $500K contract in Europe or Australia until they are WNBA ready. Yeah, I doubt that though. Product degradation. The WNBA's hidden risk. You mentioned product dilution and the math backs you up. Metric total teams, you can't, 15, projected 15. The impact, 36 to 45 new roster spots. 2026, moderate talent. 12th man on the 2024 roster is a starter in 2026. That's so true. College tenure, 3.2 years. 2026 WNBA, 1.4 years for the team. The impact, less time learning complex defensive schemes. That's serious. All right. The product suffers when the game becomes ISO heavy because players don't have the chemistry to run complex sets. If every expansion team is filled with volume shooters from the transfer portal who never learn to play off ball, the WNBA risks becoming a lower quality viewing experience right when media rights fees are at their peak. The counter argument, the professional reality. Some owners might argue that expansion is the development. By having more WNBA teams, you have more professional coaches and 40-minute games to develop that talent rather than relying on the NCAA to do it for free. Yeah, but this is still a young league that hasn't hit its full stride just yet. And so you can't, right now the league can't afford product degradation because it is diluted now. 15 teams, then you're going to add 18 teams. That's flat out diluted. And then when you bring in low-level players in terms of their skill set because they're not polished, then that causes product degradation, okay? And just as a strike would have hurt this league, okay, a lockout, a strike, product degradation will damage this league, okay? Damage it. So you can't have that on top of players now becoming unlikable. You can't have it, right? You can't. So you can't use 18 teams to say, well, we can just bring in these players and develop them in the WNBA. That's not good enough, right? Fans aren't going to want to sit through that crap. It's just bad basketball. So it hurts the ratings. You got to understand, fans are more loyal to a college program than a WNBA program because they've attended these universities. This university runs through their family. It's all in their community. This is all they know. So there's more of a loyalty to a program in college than it is to a WNBA team. So fans can deal with degradation, product degradation in college more than they're willing to deal with it in the WNBA, especially since you've just now gotten new fans the last 3 years, okay? They're not going to sit through a game where the score is 72-50 and both teams shot under 40% from the field and both teams shot under 32% from three. And both teams committed damn near 18 or 20 turnovers. And the fouls were crazy. It was all kind of stoppage of play. It was disgusting. No one is going to want to sit and watch that. Okay. And so that's why you're supposed to do your due diligence. And they didn't do their due diligence. Right. And like I said, so you can clearly see this is a great idea. I just presented this to Gemini. It's a great idea. I mean, it just is. It's an amazing idea. It's an amazing solution. So what I want to do, let me just present this to Grok real quick. Let me go to Grok. Let's get this to Grok. And let's see what Grok says. Let's see what Grok says about it. And I'll get to the comments and then I'm going to build the Chicago Sky. So I built the Indiana Fever. Y'all see how I did the Kelsey Mitchell stuff. And as soon as I got done with it, here's all of this Kelsey Mitchell content. Kelsey Mitchell stuff all in the media, all over social media. Wait a second. We ain't about to do that. We are not about to do that. We going right back to this. Hold up. We going right back to this. Right? We going right back to this. Let me talk real quick before I have a conversation with Grok. I do my Kelsey Mitchell video. I break down my Kelsey Mitchell video. Right after I'm done, here come all of these videos about Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, these people can't stop talking about Kelsey Mitchell. Okay? I told you, I originate, I lead, I set trends, I blaze trails, I create the trails. I'm the pioneer, I'm the leader of it all. I say it and do it before anyone else, right? Because I got the God connection and I just know all of this stuff. Like I know everything, right? That's coming off as arrogant, but it's just the God's honest truth, right? And so like, that's what it is. I say it first and everyone else follows afterwards. I make my Kelsey Mitchell video. Now it's just too much Kelsey Mitchell content on YouTube and social media. Just think about that. I literally built the Indiana Fever new roster. I said, thank you, Kelsey. It's time to move on from Kelsey. And I broke down why. And then I gave a solution, a nice roster rebuild that could have the Indiana Fever dynasty. Next thing you know, here's all of these Kelsey Mitchell videos. Nobody think about Kelsey until I brought it up. Like, that's how it is, man. So I just wanted to flex real quick. Now let me get back to it. Let's go to Grok. I don't know. These people probably anyway, let's go to Grok. So you're spot on about the development squeeze in women's college basketball and how it's colliding with WNBA expansion in ways that could quietly erode the overall product. The transfer portal has turned rosters into revolving doors, making it tough for players to master a system nuances, build chemistry, or refine skills over multiple years. When that feeds into a league adding teams rapidly, the WNBA going from 12 to 18 by 2030, you're looking at more roster spots, but potentially shallower talent pipelines. Owners and the players union likely focused on short-term growth, but the long-term skill pipeline from college is the blind spot. Recent NCAA tweaks, shortening the women's basketball portal window to just April 6th through the 20th after the Final Four, show the league is trying to calm the chaos. But it hasn't fixed the root issue of players bouncing after one season. Coaches are stretched thin recruiting and re-recruiting their own teams. And mid-majors get gutted while Power 4 programs hoard transfers. Data and chatter from the last couple seasons back this up. Programs struggle with continuity, and some future WNBA prospects use the portal as a quick resume boost rather than a long-term development path. Your proposal hit at real pain points for stability and parity and WNBA readiness. Point 1, cap on 4 and 5 stars per Power 4 team. This would force talent dispersion. Right now, the top classes cluster at a handful of blue blood programs, creating super teams while everyone else gets scraps. Spreading those elite recruits could give more programs a shot at building sustainability, reduce the one and done to portal cycle at the top, and create healthier competition. Parity would improve March Madness depth, and more balanced development across programs could mean a stronger overall talent pool heading to the WNBA. Downside, enforcement would be messy, and top programs will scream about competitive disadvantage. But it's an interesting counter to the neo-portal arms race. The second point, 2-year maximum on a team before portal eligibility. I'm reading this as a minimum 2-year residency requirement before a player can enter the portal again. Otherwise, it would increase turnover, which seems opposite your stability goal. This makes a ton of sense for development. Freshmen, sophomores get time to learn the ropes, adjust to college, life basketball, and actually polish skills instead of chasing immediate playing time or kneel money elsewhere. It mirrors some older NCAA philosophies or even pro-developmental models and would directly benefit the WNBA by sending more finished products. The league is already pushing for developmental roster spots and CBA talks precisely because incoming talent needs more seasoning. Players might push back, but it could reduce the portal addiction coaches complain about. The flip side is player agency. Name, image, likeness has given athletes real leverage they never had. And forced transfers have helped some reach the WNBA faster or in better situations. Blanket rules risk legal fights or unintended consequences like more grad transfers or international detours. Overall, something has to give if the WNBA wants to avoid dilution as it scales to 18 teams. Your ideas prioritize long-term health over short-term chaos. Program stability breeds better coaching, culture, and yes, WNBA caliber players. The NCAA's incremental portal tweaks are a start, but bolder structural changes like these could be the next evolution. Come on, man. Curious what others in the CFWB space think. Have you floated this on X or forums? Or talk about it right now on YouTube. What you talk about, Grok? What you talking about, Grok? I'm addressing this right now on YouTube. So I got Grok and Gemini agreeing with me. Hold on, wait a second, Grok. Wait a second, Grok. Let's go to Google AI. Let's see what Google AI has to say about it. The concerns regarding the impact of high player mobility on skill development and the potential for product degradation in the WNBA due to rapid expansion are active topics of discussion in women's basketball. The rapid expansion of the WNBA, including teams in cities like Toronto, Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly, between 2026 and 2030 is expected to grow the league rapidly, but brings challenges in maintaining the high level of play fans are accustomed to, especially as talent is dispersed among new teams. Impact of rapid turnover on skill development. Point one, reduced development time. The current environment, dominated by the NCAA transfer portal and name, image, and likeness opportunities, often leads to players changing schools rather than staying to refine skills within a specific system. Point two, transfer portal turnover. 1 out of every 4 women's college basketball players entered the transfer portal, creating a win now culture that sometimes prioritizes talent acquisition over long-term development. Point number 3, WNBA talent pipeline. As collegiate players transfer frequently, coaches have less time to polish skills, which can directly affect the preparedness of rookies entering the WNBA. Expansion and product dilution. Point 1, talent dispersion. While expanding the number of roster spots allows more players opportunities, the number of truly elite players is limited. Spreading this top-tier talent across more teams may result in a decline in the overall quality of play in the immediate term. Point 2, coaching instability. The 2024 offseason saw 7 WNBA teams change head coaches, reflecting a high turnover environment that mirrors the collegiate landscape. Point number 3, proposed solutions. Suggestions for alleviating these issues include the WNBPA's proposal for a development player program, similar to the NBA two-way contracts, which would provide players with more time to train and develop within a system, rather than forcing teams to rely on 10-day hardship contracts. Proposed structure for stability and parity. Portal limitations. While your proposal suggests a 2-year max on a team before using the portal, the current NCAA rules have moved towards unlimited transfers for academic eligible students within a designated window, representing a shift toward complete free agency rather than restriction. Parity controls. While specific caps on 4- or 5-star athletes at P4 schools are not current NCAA policies, there is an ongoing push for tighter regulation of the transfer portal windows to protect team stability. WNBA outlook. While expansion brings logistical and talent dispersion challenges, it also provides increased visibility, more jobs for women's basketball players. The success of this expansion hinges on the next collective bargaining agreement to foster a sustainable talent pipeline and enhance player development structures to combat potential dilution. So I got all 3 agreeing with me. I got Gemini agreeing with me. I have Grok agreeing with me. I have Google AI agreeing with me. Okay. Now, this isn't something new. This is something that I'm bringing back. But it is new, right, when you start adding this new CBA. Because this makes jumping into the portal more attractive. So now the portal is in overdrive because they want to make 1.4 million, 1.1 million. They want to make 2, 3, 4 million. They want to be the number 1 pick. All that's going up every year. Okay, right? So what's her name? Alexis Filippo? What's her name? Alexis Filippo. She just, let me see. Let me go to her name. What's that chick name? I hope I'm getting her name right. What is it? Alexis? I don't know how to spell that chick name. Do I even have that right? Yo, I don't know how to spell this chick name, dog. Crap. Let me do this then. Let me do this. I know people say Filippo. Damn, son. Let me see. How do I? Oh, it's Alexa. I said Alexis. I'm like, how the hell do I spell this chick name? Alexa. There it is. All right. I'm like, I don't know how to spell this chick name. All right. So we want to go here. Now watch this. Okay. So check this out. All right. Let's do reader. Okay. So let's get down to the draft, right? In terms of what they'll be making. So watch this, y'all. Check. This is going to blow your mind. Now, this is just in year one. Remember, it goes up every year. Okay. So, okay, now that's for retired players. All right, it's up here. Here it is right here. Let me highlight this if I can. Oops, let me highlight that. All right. According to the document, the average year one salary for the 2026 first round pick will come in at $386,000, up from about $75,000 in 2025, while the rookie scale salary for the number one pick will equal more than $2.2 million over 4 years, the document said. So this is just saying first round picks will come in at $386,000. That's just year one, this upcoming draft. But the number one pick, that's going to be what? Clearly over $400,000 if you're the number one overall pick. That's in this 2020. If AZ Fudd or Olivia Miles or Flau'jae or Lauren Betts, if they are the number one draft pick, they'll be making well over $400,000. Okay? Well over $400,000. That's just in 2026. That goes up in 2027, in 2028, and you get it. So that's alluring, that's attractive, that's enticing. Why should I be the sixth woman? Even if I'm a starter, I'm not the go-to player. I want to be the number one pick. Man, let me jump in this portal real quick so I can go to me a nice little mid-major. So I can be the go-to player on that mid-major, and I can average 32 points a game, and then I could be the number one pick, right? It's happened before. We've seen that with Elena Deladon. She could have stayed at UConn, but she said she wanted to be in Delaware to be with her sister. But I'm just saying, Elena Deladon is at Delaware, killing them at Delaware, right? So, like, you can leave and go to a mid-major or a low-level P4 and dominate and be the first or second option instead of the fifth option or the seventh option. And it's not because you just want to get better as a player. It's not because you want to help that program. It's because you want more opportunities so you can at least be a lottery pick. So that hurts programs, and then it hurts the player because the player really can't polish her skills enough because she's hopping from program to program. And that's the problem. And that hurts the WNBA when you're getting to 18 teams, dilution, because you have women in this league who have no business in this league, but you got to fill roster spots, right? But the women you're bringing in are women who have skills that are unrefined. And now you have dilution and degradation, y'all. And that equals disaster for this league. Okay? So the solution was to reach out to the NCAA and say, listen, we're going to propose this, canvas this, and really consider this. Because this is beneficial for both. What this does for the NCAA, it creates stability within programs. The players become more skilled. They get to polish their skills. Teams get to actually build. And it also creates parity. Regular season games are much better. And tournament games are much better because now there's parity. There's a cap with how many 4 and 5 stars P4 programs can have. And then there's a 2 years max. Okay, there's a mandatory 2 years that you have to stay at a program before you could transfer. Now, if there's some legal issues there, okay, it is what it is, right? But there's another way the WNBA can do this. The WNBA could say it's mandatory that you have to stay 4 years in college. Mandatory. If the WNBA makes it mandatory, instead of saying if you're 22 the year of the draft, then you can be a sophomore or junior and you can still jump to the WNBA. No. Mandatory, you have to play 4 years. That's the only way to prevent degradation, where these women could be more skilled. Okay. And so like, that's the part that a lot of people didn't think about. That's what they didn't see. Okay. Right. Yeah. That's what they didn't see. They didn't anticipate. You said Jeff P. and Sloot need to be sent to Siberia. Okay, so now we're talking about Angel Reese. Okay, how do we build this? How do we build this? Well, we're gonna build it just like how Angel Reese is. So what if I were to target Dejanay Carrington? Isn't Dejanay Carrington just like Angel Reese? Doesn't she play tooth and nail? High effort, high energy player, bleeds for her team, 50-50 player. What if we targeted Dejanay? What if we targeted Lexi Hall? What if we targeted Azura Stevens? What if we targeted Olivia Nelson-Adota? What if we targeted players coming off the bench like a JC Sheldon, Emily Angsler? Okay, so like the list goes on. So what I can do, I can target players just like Angel. Angel plays with her heart on her sleeve. Angel plays the 50-50 game perfectly. She's a high effort, high energy player, a passionate player, and she plays tooth and nail. Yeah, and I forgot about that, Billy. Dejanay is with Reebok. What if we did that? Can you imagine a team loaded with that type of effort and energy where they're a bunch of 50-50 players in terms of their effort? They will win a championship every year. So what I want to do, before I ask Gemini this, let's go to the WNBA app. Okay, let's go to teams. Emily Angster will be good and shoots threes, and she plays with a lot of energy. So these are the players on the Chicago Sky that they're going to keep. Okay, that are under contract. Camilla, Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, Maddie Siegrist, and I believe they're going to bring back Courtney Vandersloot. Okay, so we're looking at Angel, Camilla, Haley Van Lith, Maddie Westbelt. Who do we surround these players with? Now, are they going to keep Maddie? Are they going to keep Haley? Or are they going to let them go in the portal? They could let them, the expansion draft. They could let them go in the expansion draft. So, but let's assume that they're going to keep those four. What if I added this woman right here? What if I added this woman right here? Dejanay. Plays with a heart on her sleeve. Will bleed and kill for you. Will lay it all out there on offense and defense. She never, ever gives up. What if I added Dejanay? Okay. What if I added Dejanay? What if I added Kyla Thornton, Dejanay, Kyla Thornton? Let's go. I'm not done yet. Azura Stevens. Okay. Because Azura can play the 4 or the 5. Camilla could come off the bench, or Camilla at the 5, Azura at the 4, Angel Reese at the 3, Dejanay at the 2, okay, and Courtney at the 1, or we'll figure that out. So wait a second. Azura, because she plays tooth and nail. Hold up. Is there anyone I would want off of this team? No. This woman right here, because she plays tooth and nail. Emily Angster plays tooth and nail. And Emily can play the 4 or the 3. She can play the 3 or the 4. And this is someone that comes off the bench, right? Alicia Gray, but they're going to have to pay top dollar to get Alicia Gray. But they could definitely pick up Ray Burrell, and she could come off the bench. You're right about that. Okay. Hold up. We're not done yet. Let's go to the New York Liberty. Let me see. Is there anyone? Natasha Cloud. I can see Natasha Cloud. Or they could bring back Rebecca Gardner, but I could totally see Natasha Cloud, right? Do you guys think Natasha Cloud, is that realistic? She plays tooth and nail too, so we can consider Natasha. Let's move on. Lexi Hall, number 1. I'm going there right now. Now, I want the Fever to keep Lexi, but I'm just saying, Lexi is going to die for you. Lexi is going to kill for you, and she's going to die for you. Okay? Can you imagine Lexi and Angel on the same team like they was with Rose? That's crazy. Now they can afford to do all this because I haven't presented a name that's going to command supermax money. Unless Azra Stevens thinks that she's a supermax player, I don't believe that. So the only other one that I would take from this team, I can pick 2 others. Breonna Turner could come off the bench. She's going to fight tooth and nail, Breonna Turner. Or I can go after Ari McDonald. Ari McDonald is going to fight tooth and nail. Well, what I'm doing women's basketball for is that I'm building a roster like Angel Reese, like an Angel Reese likeness in terms of her intangibles, how she plays the game, right? She plays tooth and nail. She gives it everything she has. So what if I surrounded her with players just like her? They fight tooth and nail. They bleed for you. They'll dive on the floor for every loose ball. They'll fight for every rebound. They'll defend like their life depends on it. Odyssey Sims too. Yeah, I could definitely throw in Odyssey. I could totally see Odyssey. Okay, let's go to Connecticut. They're not going to get Anissa Morrow. That's not going to happen. Or Sanaya Rivers. But this woman right here, Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Do you guys know that her plus minus on the floor, whenever she's on the floor, the Connecticut Sun is always a plus? They're never a negative when she's on the floor because she fights tooth and nail and she's so efficient. They're not going to get Layla Lacan. That's not happening. They'll never give up Layla Lacan. She's on her rookie deal, and that won't. No, Brandon. Layla Lacan isn't going anywhere. She's on her rookie deal, and they'll never, ever put her in the expansion draft. That won't ever happen. Yeah, so you can't say Layla, but you can say Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Olivia could back up. She can back up Camila Cardoso, or you could start her at the 4, but I think she would be a backup. Okay. Do I take anyone else from this team? No, because no one else is realistic. Okay. So moving on, let's go to Atlanta. You say all they need to do is play defense because last year the backup players were washed. Absolutely, Nubians. So who do we take? Brandon Smith. Who do we take from Atlanta? I think the only players that matches this, but they cost a lot of money, is Alicia Gray. But you got to spend some of this money. So who proposed Alicia Gray? Alicia Gray is perfect like Angel Reese in terms of being tooth and nail. 10 toes down, tooth and nail. She'll bleed and die for you. Alicia Gray is going to do that, but you know who else is going to do that? This woman right here. This woman right here, Ryan Howard, is Jordan Canada, but you got a women's basketball. She always gets injured. That's the problem. That's why I didn't mention her, because she's always injured. So I couldn't do that with Jordan Canada. She gets injured every year, it seemed like. So I don't want I don't want Chicago bringing in an injured player, like a player that's injury prone. Ryan Howard is another one, y'all. She fights tooth and nail. She'll never quit. She's going to do anything to win on offense or defense, right? So that's two. I understand what you're saying about Jordan Canada, but Jordan Canada, man, she's now injury prone. Yeah, she's injury prone. So I couldn't necessarily say that. Now, could I bring in Maya Caldwell for someone off the bench? Like someone who's like ninth in rotation? She plays pretty hard, but Naz Hillman plays hard too. Naz Hillman is another one. She could come off the bench. She plays really hard, right? This is one of the reasons why Atlanta was in the playoffs and why they were so good. I mean, look how many tooth and nail players they have, y'all. This team had a lot of tooth and nail players. So who else did we miss? Who else did we miss? Let me go back to the Mystics. It seemed like I'm missing somebody from the Mystics, y'all. J.C. Sheldon. J.C. Sheldon, y'all. You said they need to sell the team and get rid of Jeff. Listen, Nubian. J.C. Sheldon. J.C. Sheldon fights tooth and nail. You say Maya Caldwell is even better shooter than Michaela Onyeawere and good defense. That's true. This woman right here, JC, will die for you. This woman is tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. Okay? So that's pretty serious. Let me go back to the Valkyries. I feel like I'm missing something. What do y'all think about Monique Billings? I think Monique Billings is another one of those players that fights really hard. Monique. Tammy Fack Benlay will fight tooth and nail. And the reason why I'm not saying Veronica Burton, I don't think they're going to do that. I just don't believe that they're going to get rid of Veronica Burton. I think they're going to sign Veronica Burton. So that's why I didn't mention her. I don't think, you see, I love J.C. Sheldon. She plays the, I don't think they're going to bring in her, Letitia Me here, because Toronto wants her. So the league is going to try to give Toronto as many Canadian players as possible. Bridget Carlton, Kia Nurse, right? So that's where that is going. So I don't believe LA would be available for the Sky, but she would be a nice player coming off the bench with that Angel Reese. Yeah, that's why I said Kyla Thornton women's basketball. That's the first one I brought up was Kyla Thornton. I mean, she is going to die for you. Billings, yeah, Billy Billings. Billings is going to be nice. Like Monique plays that way. Kyla Thornton plays that way. Letitia plays that way, but Letitia's going to Toronto. Who else plays like that? Who else just would die for you? This team had a lot of them. Even Kyla Charles would die for you, right? She would. Yeah, they're going to protect Janelle Salone because she's on the rookie deal. They're not going to let her go. They'll never get rid of her. They're not letting her go. And they're not letting Caitlin Chen go. They're going to keep Caitlin. They're going to keep Carla Late. Like, they're not, a lot of these people they're bringing back. But, so, am I missing someone? You know what? Let's go to Phoenix. Let me look at Phoenix again. Let me look at Phoenix for the first time. The only one that makes sense who fights tooth and nail, truthfully, is Kalia Copper, or I would say Monique Akua-Makani. Monique Akua-Makani is a tooth and nail player. Plus, she could shoot the three and she could play the one or the two. So you could think about Monique. I would say Monique, and then I would say Kalia Copper, right? I would say Kalia Copper. So definitely, I would say Kalia Copper. These are the only two I would take off of this team. I don't have anything against Natasha Mack. I just don't see Natasha Mack diving on the floor. Okay? I don't see her diving on the floor, right? I just don't. So I'm talking about 50-50. You say Kyla Thornton is Golden State's star player. I don't think. Well, she was until she got injured. Now their star player is Veronica Burton. That's their star player now. So the only two players who fight tooth and nail. No. Ncaa Makani wasn't drafted. She wasn't drafted by them. She was just signed. She wasn't drafted. So she's up for grabs. So, you know, I would sign Ncaa Makani potentially. I'm just trying to find players like Angel Reese, like Lexi Hall, right? Those kind of players. And on this team, I only see two. And that's Kalia Copper, and then that's Monique Ncaa Makani. Those are the only two from this roster I see. I can't say Alyssa Thomas because that's not realistic, right? And I can't say Satu because that's not realistic. And no one else is a Lexi Hall or an Angel Reese on this team, except these two players I just highlighted. I do want to go back to Minnesota because what do y'all think about Natisha Hyman? What do y'all think about Natisha Hyman? I think Natisha plays hard. I think she's good for offense, and I think she's a pest on defense. What about Alana Smith coming back to Chicago? Alana Smith is going to do everything she can to help you win on offense and defense and the in-between game. So Alana Smith is another one. And then you have to go with Courtney Williams. Does she come back to Chicago? And Courtney Williams is going to do everything she can on offense and defense, and she's going to do the little things. She's going to get dirty. So she's another one. But what's practical? What can really happen? What's more logical? Yeah, well, see, Courtney Vandersloot, because of the injuries and her age, that's up in the air, man. But the main one from this team is this woman right here. This is the one you want. You want DeJanae. That's the one you want. Now, we can look at the aces, but no one from the aces is like that. Do you think the Stubbuds are going to be a package deal? They might try to present themselves that way, but I don't know about that. Ricky, you said they said they are not going back to Chicago. Okay, well, I guess that cancels out the Stubbuds, but I don't see anyone like that for the aces. Okay. No one is like that for the aces. I'm like, Asia isn't leaving. They're going to do everything they can to keep Jackie. I'm not saying Chelsea Gray doesn't fight hard, but Chelsea Gray is limited in a lot of different ways in terms of hustle and defense. She'll hustle, but she's not like Angel Reese, not like that. She'll hustle, though. So, yeah, I can't pick anyone from this team. I can't do that. Let me look at Seattle. Now, Skylar is like that, but Skylar gets cooked on defense. So I can't, she gets cooked on defense. But she's a hustle player, but now Brittany Sykes, this is another one. So Brittany Sykes is going to lay it all out on the line, and her and Angel teammates with Unrivaled. So, yeah, Brittany Sykes is now she's streaky as a shooter, but Brittany Sykes is another one. Can you imagine Brittany Sykes and DeJanae Carrington on the Chicago Sky with freaking Kyla Thornton and Olivia Nelson-Adota or Alana Smith and Lexi Hall? Like, can you imagine that? Gabby Williams is another one, but Gabby is going to ask for the max. Gabby is going to ask for the max, y'all. But Gabby is another one who she will fight tooth and nail. So they got a few. You can't say Ncaa because that's not going to happen. No one else on this team. You can't. Ezzy is good, but she's not tooth and nail like Brittany and Gabby Williams. Ezzy is a good defender, but she doesn't have that in-between game like Angel and Lexi Hall or Dejanay Carrington. Right, you talking about dogs, or I can call him a lioness or a dragon or that killer. Like, she not like that. So she's not tooth and nail the way Brittany Sykes and Gabby Williams is. She's not tooth and nail like that. And like I said, I can't take anyone from this team. I can't take anyone from this team outside of Grace Berger. But Grace, but they're not going to take Grace Berger. No one else is like that on this team. Diamond Miller is just this uncontrolled force of energy that's just chaotic, right? So Diamond Miller is just chaos. You know, she has a lot of work to do, Diamond Miller. She got a lot of work to do. She needs to channel that energy. So anyway, yeah, Diamond is just kind of all over the place. Yeah, Maddie is going to do that, but Maddie isn't threatening. Maddie isn't Angel Reese, y'all. Maddie isn't Lexi Hall. Maddie isn't Dejanay Carrington. Maddie isn't Gabby Williams. Maddie isn't Brittany Sykes. Maddie isn't Kyla Thornton, right? So it's levels to this. I like Maddie, but Maddie isn't Lexi. Maddie isn't Angel. Like, so we're trying to build it the way Angel is. You know who's like Angel? Lexi Hall. You know who's like Angel and Lexi Hall? Dejanay. Right? So, like, those are the kinds of players. Maddie's not like that. Maddie's nice, but that's not who Maddie is. Okay? So, like, and there's no one on his team like that. Yeah, if Ncaa was healthy, but Ncaa has another injury to the same knee. So that's the problem. Let me go here. Now, Sarah Ashley Barker is one of those kinds of players, but they're not going to let go of Sarah. Now, you mentioned Ray Burrell. Absolutely, Ray Burrell is one of them they could consider. And like I said, to me, the best one on this whole roster is Azura Stevens. Azura Stevens is a tooth and nail player. Azura Stevens is a 1,000% tooth and nail player, y'all. Okay, like that's what that is. And so this is who you want. So let me present all of this to Gemini. Okay, let me propose this. She could play point, but she's not a tooth and nail player. She's not like Dejanay or Brittany Sykes. Like, okay. Yeah, Azura is a stretch Nubian, but Azura be on that floor. Azura will kill. Azura is a 6'6" Lexi Hall, y'all. That chick could do anything to win. It's the same thing with Olivia Nelson-Ododa. It's the same thing with Alana Smith, with Emily Angsler. Like, those are the type of players that I'm talking about, right? So Gemini says, I'm absolutely ready. So since you're focused on building around a high motor double machine like Angel Reese, we have to factor in the massive shift in the league's economy, the Valkyrie effect, blah, 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 roster depth, roster strategy. So he's talking about the gravity spacer, pick and roll maestro, the vertical spacer. All right, he says, let's build. So considering super team, homegrown route, chaos route. All right, so let's do this. Y'all, I'm about to butcher these names. Let's build with players who are high energy, high effort, good to great defenders, and they excel in intangibles such as, or as it pertains to hustle plays. I'm thinking of players like Dejanay, Lexi Hall, Kyla Thornton, Azara Stevens, I hope I'm spelling it. Alana Smith. Who else am I missing, y'all? Who else am I missing? Let me see. Let me see. JC. Hold up. JC Sheldon. Brittany Sykes, Gabby Williams, Alicia Gray, Tammy Fag Benlay. I think I got that name all wrong. Ray Burrell. I know I'm missing some. Hold on. Emily Angsler. Ari McDonald, and others like such. All right, let's go. This is the all hustle, no breathe roster. If we build with this group, we are essentially building a defensive nightmare that turns every game into a 94-foot track meet. With the $7 million salary cap now in effect, we have the flexibility to sign nearly all these high-impact glue players because many of them, despite being elite defenders, don't typically command the 1.4 million supermax that a pure scorer might. That's why I wanted to do this video, because this is possible. Here is how we can structure the chaos and clamps roster around Angel Reese. Number one, the perimeter pass, backcourt. Brittany Sykes. Sykes is the head of the snake. She's a multi-time all-defensive selection and a transition specialist. Pairing her speed with Angel's outlet passing would be lethal. Dejanay Carrington. Coming off a massive 2025 season where she proves she's one of the best perimeter locks in the league, she brings that same chip on the shoulder energy that Angel thrives on. JC Sheldon. Her 94 feet of hell on-ball defense is the perfect change of pace. She's young, cheap on her rookie scale, and relentless. Ari McDonald, pure lightning. After her resurgent 2025 with the Fever, she's the perfect spark plug to She's the perfect spark plug to sub in and maintain a high tempo. Number 2, the versatile Swiss Army knives, the wings. Gabby Williams. She is the ultimate intangible player. Her ability to guard positions 1 through 4 and facilitate the offense takes the pressure off your guards. Lexi Hall, the hustle queen. She is currently a restricted free agent, but if we can pry her away, her 3-and-D evolution and floor-burning dives for loose balls make her a perfect culture setter. Alicia Gray. She provides the pro stability. She's a great defender, but also gives this hustle-heavy lineup the consistent perimeter scoring it needs on the offensive or the offense, so the offense doesn't stall. Ray Burrell, a high upside athlete wing who is finally healthy and showing out in the Unrivaled League. She's a great buy low candidate with high energy traits. Number 3, the front court enforcers. Angel Reese, the double-double engine and primary interior presence. Alana Smith, the perfect partner for Angel. Alana is an elite rim protector who can also stretch the floor, allowing Angel the space to work the offensive glass. Azura Stevens. At 6'6", her mobility is rare. She can switch onto guards and disrupt passing lanes. Kyla Thornton. The veteran toughness is higher. She doesn't need the ball to be effective and will do the dirty work that wins championships. Emily Angster. Statistical stock, steals and blocks. Monster. She is one of the few players who can match Angel's nose for the ball. Why this works. This team will lead the league in deflections, steals, and offensive rebounds. You have multiple players who are all defensive caliber. The budget factor. Under the new CBA, the average salary is around $600,000. Even if we pay Alicia Gray and Brittany Sykes $1 million plus each to be our veteran anchors, we could still likely fit this entire 12-woman roster under the $7 million cap, because players like Hall, Sheldon, and Angsler are still on incredibly team-friendly deals. Wait a second. You say problem is Jeff is in love with a 37-year-old backup and your point guard. Hold up. Let's not forget about Camila Cardoso. Yeah, the Twin Towers approach. Adding Camila Cardoso into this mix completely changes the geometry of our roster. If we're building with Camila and Angel together, we aren't just a hustle team anymore. We are a physical intimidation squad. Coming off her 2025 season where she averaged 13.6 points per game and 8.5 rebounds per game, Camila gives us a 6'7" anchor that allows Angel to be the roving defender she's best at. Here is how we adjust the hustle and flow roster to accommodate the Cardoso-Reese pairing under the 2026 CBA. The starting wall. Camila Cardoso, primary rim protector. Angel Reese, with Camila handling the true centers. Angel is free to use her high energy to crash from the perimeter, switch onto wings, and dominate the offensive glass. Gabby Williams, we need Gabby here. She is the connective tissue. Her elite passing can feed both Camila and Angel, and she has the lateral quickness to cover whoever Angel isn't guarding. The perimeter pressure, Brittany Sykes, still our number one target. To make the Twin Towers work, you need a guard who can navigate screens and force turnovers so the bigs can run the floor. Alicia Gray, crucial adjustment, because neither Angel or Camila are high-volume three-point shooters yet. Alicia Gray becomes a non-negotiable. We need her pro scoring and 40% three-point shooting to prevent the defense from triple-teaming the paint. Why this roster is broken in a good way. Number one, rebounding dominance. You have the number 5 Camila and the number 2 Angel rebounders in the league. You will effectively eliminate one-and-done possessions for your opponents. Number 2, defensive versatility. If an opponent goes small, you sub in Alana Smith or Azra Stevens for Camila. If they go big, nobody in the league can match your size. Number 3, Lexi Hall, Emily Angster factor. Imagine being an opposing guard. You finally get past Sykes and Carrington, on to have Lexi Hall dive at your ankles for the ball And if you do get a shot off, Camilla's waiting at the rim. It's exhausting. The financials. With the $7 million cap, keeping Camilla and Angel on their adjusted rookie scales is a massive advantage. It leaves us roughly $5 to $5.5 million to fill the other 10 spots. Brittany Sykes and Alicia Gray, $1 million to $1.2 million each. Gabby Williams, $900,000. The rest, high-value hustle players like Hall, Sheldon, Angsler fit perfectly into the $400,000, $600,000 range, middle class of the new CBA. So you said, sounds good to me, Doug. Listen, I told you, man. Listen, man, look at this roster, y'all. Look at this roster. And I forgot some names, but look at this roster. This is who Gemini says should start. Brittany Sykes at the point, Alicia Gray at the 2, Gabby Williams at the 3, Angel Reese at the 4, Camilla at the 5. Just that starting 5 right there is a playoff. This is a playoff roster right now. Brittany Sykes starting point guard, Alicia Gray the shooting guard, Gabby Williams small forward, Angel Reese at the 4, Camilla at the 5. Here's the backups: J.C. Sheldon, Dejanay, Ray Burrell, Alana Smith, Azara Stevens. Okay. And then you got Lexi Hall, Emily Angsler, or you got to like, and that's it. Because you can only keep 12, but you can keep 2 more as developmental. Yeah, that's it. Or you could sub out Emily for Kyla. Like, look at that, dog. Like, this serious. This is serious. So let me do this. Let me do this real quick. You can only keep 12 players. Now, I don't want to say that. I'm just going to say you can only keep 12 players. Give me your 12 out of these players listed. Nubian said, I would like to bring in Bree Hall as a developmental player. Yeah, that would be a damn good one. To build the ultimate hustle championship roster, we have to make some agonizing cuts. Under the new 2026 CBA, while the salary cap has exploded to $7 million, the roster limit remains at 12 active players, plus 2 developmental spots we'll save for later. To make this team a cohesive defensive juggernaut around Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso, we need a balance of perimeter pressure, veteran leadership, and spacing to ensure the paint doesn't get too crowded. Here are the 12 players I'm taking into battle. The starting 5, the Great Wall of Hustle. Point guard Brittany Sykes, the primary defensive disruptor. Her speed and wingspan at the point are non-negotiable for a transition-based team. Shooting guard Alicia Gray, our stabilizer. While this is a hustle team, Gray provides the elite, efficient perimeter scoring and floor spacing we need to keep defenses honest. Small forward, Gabby Williams, the point forward. Her basketball IQ and defensive versatility guarding 1 through 4 make her the glue that holds the Reese-Cardoso pairing together. Power forward, Angel Reese, the motor. She's coming off a 2025 season where she led the league in rebounding. She's our emotional and physical heartbeat. Center, Camilla Cardoso, the anchor. At 6'7", she provides the rim protection that allows everyone else to be aggressive on the perimeter. The finisher, bench. Number 6 player, Dejanay Carrington. The first player off the bench. She brings starter energy and can shut down any opponent's best perimeter scorer. 7th in rotation, Alana Smith. Essential because she can play alongside either Angel or Camilla. Her ability to stretch the floor as a stretch 5 is the perfect tactical counter. Lexi Hall, the floor burner. No one in the league works harder for loose balls. She is the ultimate culture setter for this specific roster identity. J.C. Sheldon, our 94-foot specialist. If Sykes needs a breather, Sheldon keeps the defensive pressure at a 10. 10 out of 10. The situational specialist. Deep bench. Azara Stevens provides elite length and insurance for the front court. She's a starting caliber big who adds massive value in foul trouble situations. Ari McDonald, the change of pace guard. Her pure speed is a weapon we can deploy to break open games in the fourth quarter. And finally, number 12, Emily Angsler, the stat sheet stuffer. She's on the roster specifically for her ability to rack up stocks, steals, and blocks in short bursts. The final cut, why? I left off Kyla Thornton, Tammy Fat Bentley, and Ray Burrell. Thornton was the hardest to cut, but Angsler and Smith provide slightly more defensive upside in the current high-speed meta. Fat Bentley and Burrell are high-energy players, but with Stevens and Carrington already on the bench, their roles are redundant. Strategy summary, this team will be number 1 in rebounding and number 1 in defensive rating. With the new $7 million salary cap, we could actually afford this super deep roster because we've mixed high-priced vets, Gray and Sykes, with high-value rookie scale mid-tier contracts, Reese, Cardoso, Hall, Sheldon. So we just built the Chicago Sky, y'all. We just built it. It's built. It's freaking built. It's built. It is built, y'all. And can you imagine? Like, I just built the Fever. So you seen when I built the Fever. So can you imagine like how we built the Fever going up against this right here? Like, listen, I just built the Chicago Sky. Oh my gosh, man. Listen, freaking built the Chicago Sky, man. This is a championship roster right here. This is a championship roster right here. This team probably wouldn't even lose a game. If they stay healthy, this team might not lose a game. That's serious. That's serious, man. Oh my God.